We installed Nextcloud with Docker, and I think that we fixed a few issues here. One of the issues is email test. Let's try to fix this one as well. So we should first of all set an email address for the current account, for the admin account. So email, let's say it is, or let me write my own email. Oops, password. I'm not sure if I remember the password now. Okay, unfortunately, I've forgotten the password, but maybe this is a good case to see how to recover the password of a user. We can use the tool OCC, I think. And it has also this user reset password. Or let's see first what users we have currently. There is only one user, admin. Now user reset password. And I should give the username here, which is admin. Entering a password. Okay. So let me try to set an email address. And it is requesting the password. Okay, it is saved. And now we go to administration settings and basic settings. And one of the settings is email server. SMTP is okay. I can use here from address. And SMTP server is okay. SMTP port 25. And let me try to send an email. Email sent. Let me see if I received it. So I received the test email, so sending emails is working. And let's check again the administration settings here. And there was one message about sending emails, and now it is not here. So we fixed one more thing here. And we were also doing the maintenance of this Nextcloud. And we wrote a backup script here. Oops. This one here, I think. And it is using these two tools, OCC and pgdump. And OCC is executing the command php ncc inside the container nc2 as user www data. So it is a Docker exec, and this is for interactivity. And also executing another command as user postgres inside the container pg1, and the command that is executed is pgdump. And we use this command OCC to set Nextcloud to activate the maintenance mode and to deactivate it. And we use pgdump to get a backup of the database. It is making, this is the name of the database. It makes the dump to the standard output, to the screen. And so we redirect it to this file, db.sql. And then we go one directory above and then make an archive with tar. Make an archive of the whole directory nc2. And this directory contains the application files as well as the backup of the database. And then we move this backup to this archive to the home directory. So we tried it last time and we created this backup, but let's try it once more. So the name of the archive also contains a timestamp. This is the current date, 2026 0303. And after making the backup, we will try to restore it. So we are going to test the restore. But before restoring, we have to remove the current site. Or to destroy it. And we are going to create this script, nc2 remove, which removes or destroys the site nc2, Nextcloud 2. So let me copy this script. And the backup is this one here. Oops. Okay. So we stop the container nc2, docker stop, and then we remove this container, docker remove, and then we also remove the database. So we are sending this command with echo send drop database and the name of the database through the pipe. We send this command to the command psql, which is running inside the container pg1, and it is running as user postgres. So running this command into the psql is going to drop the database, to remove the database. And after removing the container and the database, finally we remove the directory itself, which contains application files and database files as well. So basically we destroy everything. So let's remove the website. And let us check that it is not working anymore. It is not working. And now we are going to restore it. And we are going to use this script, nc2 restore, to restore back the site. So first of all, it is checking for an argument. So this is the first argument of the script, passed to the script. And it is testing whether it is 0, whether it is empty or not. So if the first argument is empty, there is no argument, then it is printing this message, usage. It is expecting a backup archive to be restored. And then exit, which terminates the script. And then we are checking whether the first argument is a file or not. So this test -f is checking whether this is a file. If it is not a file, this is not. So this is not. If it is not a file, then echo this error message. Error, file does not exist. So the argument one, the first argument is present, but it does not represent the name of a file. It is not a file. And we sent this error message to the standard error. And then exit again, but this time we exit with exit code 2. So exit code 1, exit code 2. Exit code 1 shows that we are not using it properly. We are not passing an argument. And exit code number 2 shows that the argument is not a file. Otherwise, so this test is passed and this test is passed, then we continue with the rest of the script. We get the first argument, and with this command real path get the real path of this archive file. And we store it into this variable backup file. Then stop nginx, go to the directory var docker. Now this real path gives the full path of the file. So now we have the full path here. Even if this is a symbolic link, for example, this will follow the symbolic link and will find the full path, the absolute path of the file. So it doesn't matter in which directory we are. Currently we are in the directory var docker, and we extract this archive file into this directory var docker. And inside this archive is the directory nc2. So we go to this directory nc2 cd, and then in this directory there is this directory, this file settings.sh, which contains the database parameters, etc. that we use to build the website the first time, to build the container. And for example, we are using here the variable dbhost. This variable dbhost is defined in these settings because this is included in the backup as well, because we included the whole directory in the archive file. And the directory, the original directory, also contains these settings. So we are defining this command psql like this one, exec docker exec into this container, the command psql. And then we also have the name of the database into this variable, database name. And we are sending this command to psql to drop it in case it exists. And then we run the script db init again, which initializes the database. Then we restore the database. This is the backup of the database. It contains all the structure of the tables and the data of the database. And we are sending it through the pipe to the command psql, and it is being executed. All those commands are being executed into this database. So these two commands will make a full restoration of the database. Will restore the database. And then this script create will recreate the container of Nextcloud and also the Redis container, because this script also created a Redis container. And then we start the Redis container first, and then we start Nextcloud. And then we disable the maintenance mode. Why do we have to disable it? Because before making the backup, we enabled the maintenance mode, and after restoring, the maintenance mode is still enabled. And so we have to disable the maintenance mode, and then we start back Nginx. So let's try to run the script and see whether it will restore the site, the NC2 site. So I tried it without an argument, and it is showing the usage here, the usage. So it needs an archive file. So let me pass this backup file that we just made a few minutes ago. So and we see that the database NC2 has been restored, including all the scripts inside it, and the backup file, and also this directory www that contains the Nextcloud files. And let's try the website again. Refresh. And we see that it is running again. It is back. Let's also check the configurations, the last configurations that we made. Basic settings. Okay, we just made it before making the backup, and so after we restore, everything is back. So all the data and all the configurations. And let's see how to update. And we are going to use a script again for making the update. And this update script, we will create it into the directory of the application. let me paste it here. This is the update script that I just created. So we are getting the latest version of Nextcloud, Nextcloud image, Docker image, and also the latest version of Redis Docker image. And then stop the container nc2, remove it, stop Redis, remove Redis, and then we recreate the containers nc2 and Redis, because this script creates both the container for Nextcloud and the container for Redis. And after creating them, then we just start the new version of containers. And despite removing the container, I remove the container nc2. I don't remove the data, because the data are stored here. The data of the application are stored here. And also, it is here. The data is here. Okay. And also the database, the data of the database is stored into this container. So I removed the Nextcloud container, but I did not remove the data of the database, and I did not remove the application files and the data inside it. So these are mounted on the host, so removing the container does not remove this data. And when I start the new container is going to reuse this data, and also the database. So let me try this update script. It is actually pulling a new version of Nextcloud container, and I forgot to check the current version is 32.0.6, and let's see what will be the new version. Maybe it will going to update it to a new version. Okay, it created the containers, started Redis, started Nextcloud. They are running. Now let me refresh this page and see what will be the version of Nextcloud. Maybe I have to So it is running. Maybe I have to restart Nginx. Oh no, it was just a matter of time, because it was still processing something. Okay, this is the new version, and it is the version 33.0.0. So since the last time that we installed Nextcloud, uh, about 1 week ago or something like this, Nextcloud has released a new version, and now we just updated it to the latest version. This is the winter release. So from version 32 to now we are running Nextcloud version 33. So update script worked. And actually, the update that we did above also did something like upgrade, but we can also run these commands to upgrade. So this is an upgrade without upgrading the image, the Docker image. With the same Docker image, we upgrade the content of the Nextcloud application. But this update that we did above, this starts by updating the Nextcloud image. And the new Nextcloud image also includes a new Nextcloud version. In this case, maybe not always, I'm not sure. So let's try this upgrade command as well. So we stop nginx. So we first stop nginx, and then we run the command occ upgrade, and then update all the apps, and then these two commands are recommended: add missing indices and convert file cache begin, and then we start nginx again. So let me make it executable and try it. Okay, this was finished quickly. And this is the end of the Docker session. So we managed to run also Nextcloud with Docker containers. Now let's see how to use Docker Compose. And we'll first install a WordPress with Docker Compose. And when we installed Docker, we also installed Docker Compose. So it is running. Docker Compose is already installed. And we can have a look at the help. So it has some similar commands to Docker. For example, exec, Docker exec, Docker Compose exec. Also this build and ls ps list containers. It is similar to Docker ps, Docker Compose ps. This also lists some containers. And we are going to use the directory Docker for managing Docker based websites. Now let's create the directory compose. In order to manage these websites that we are going to install with Docker Compose. Now let's create a directory for WordPress. And in this directory I'm going to create a Docker Compose configuration file. And let me copy it from here. Enter. And it is named compose.yml or YAML. Compose.yaml. And this configuration file describes what containers should be started and other parameters of these containers. And so this is a declaration style. So we just declare some settings, and then Docker Compose is going to build the required networks and containers to download the images, the necessary images, and so on. And here, this configuration, for example, is the configuration for a database, and it is called DB, and it has some settings here. This configuration is for a container for the WordPress container, and because these containers, these Docker containers usually run just one program, like a service. These are called services. So this is one service or one container. This is the definition for another service or another container. So we have just two containers here, or two services. One for the database and one for the WordPress itself. We are calling this WordPress 5 because we already have WordPress 1, WordPress 2, WordPress 3, and WordPress 4 that we have installed previously. Now we are calling this website that we are going to build WordPress 5. And here we are telling which image to use. This is the same image that we have used before with Docker and with Bash scripts. And actually, it is useful to split the window and to compare it with what we did with the Docker scripts. No, the other one. Okay. So in this directory var Docker, we had this WordPress 3 and WordPress 4. Let's see, for example, WordPress 4. So we have this create script. And this script is creating a Docker container for the WordPress. And if we compare, for example, the settings of this container here, we see image. The image is at the end here, WordPress. It is the same image that is being used. The name of the image is at the end of the docker create command. And then restart, unlist, stop. We have this one, restart, unlist, stop. And these are the published ports. we publish the port 8086. So we forward it from the host. The port 8086 on the host is forwarded to the port 80 into the container. And here, this is the publish instruction here, or this is option. So the port 8084 is forwarded to the port 80. Why 86? Because we are building another website, and so we are using another port, because this port is already used. Maybe it should be 5 here, not 6. But we used this 8085 for the next cloud, so this is 8086. We have already used the port 8085. It is being used right now. And then there is this section, environment, and we define some bash variables here, or some environment variables, which are going to be used inside the container. And it is similar to this definition here. These variable environments are required by this image. So if we are going to define them, then the scripts that run inside this image will use them to connect to the database. And WordPress DB host is the name of the database host, database name. We are using another name database here. Here it is WordPress 4DB, but these are the same. And then this volume is mounting. So there is a column here. This is the directory on the host, and this is the directory inside the container. So this directory on the host is mounted to this directory inside the container. And it is similar to this mount option here. The directory www on the current directory is mounted to the directory var www html inside the container. So these are very, very similar. Now, this configuration file contains everything that we need to run this website. So we just need to say docker compose app, and it will start these containers and download the images if needed. And it also is showing the logs that come from these two containers, database container and the Nextcloud, the WordPress container. And I can press D here for detach. Detach means that I get to the prompt and the logs go running into the background. The command ps or processes is listing the containers that are running. So it has created this container named WordPress DB1 and WordPress WP5 1. This is the image, MariaDB and WordPress. And it creates automatically the names for these containers. This is the name of the project, the Docker Compose project. And the name of the project, by default, if we don't specify, is the name of the directory in which we are running this, in which this configuration file compose.yml is located. So this is the name of the project. This is the name of the service, and then it appends one number to make it unique, in case there is another service with the same name. And the same here. This is the name of the service here. And with the Docker Compose down, we can stop and remove these containers. Now there are no containers running, and with Docker Compose up, again we can start again. But if we append this option D for detach, it will run into the background. So now we don't see the log messages from the containers, but we can have a look at them with Docker Compose logs. Logs and -F for follow. So now we see the logs from these containers. And we can also see the logs for only one service. For example, Docker Compose logs for the service DB. Only the logs for this service. Control C, or WP5. Only the logs for this service. And similar to a Docker container, we have the command docker exec. Now we have Docker Compose exec. And this takes the name of the service, and then the command that is going to be executed. So I'm going to run the command bash into the container of this service. The container itself is named WordPress DB1. But when we say Docker Compose exec, we use the name of the service. And this command will be executed inside this container. And we get a prompt into the database container. For example, let me try MariaDB here, because this is a MariaDB container, and I get the MariaDB prompt here. Exit. I can also run the command MariaDB directly here. So run the command MariaDB inside the container of this service. ls is listing all the Docker Compose projects. So this is the name of the project. It has two running services, or two running containers. And the configuration file for this project is compose.yml into this directory. And ps is listing the services or the containers of this project. Now that WordPress and MariaDB containers are running, the website should be running. But in order to access it, we also need to set up a reverse proxy configuration. We are using Nginx as a reverse proxy. And let's copy the configuration from WordPress 4 and we are going to modify this one. Instead of WordPress 4, we are going to replace this with WordPress 5. Yes, yes. But there is also another modification that we have to do, because this has the instruction proxy pass to this address, and this port is used by another container. The port that we are using for this container is 8086. So we have to modify this one as well. So it is forwarding the request to the port 8086 of the local host. Save. Now I have to enable this. This is a available configuration, but I have to enable it. It is enabled. Now, before reloading the configuration of Nginx, let us test it. Nginx -t, and we see that it is missing the certificate file. So we have to get a SSL certificate for this domain. And the email address of the owner of this domain. And we have used the command certbot before. We are requesting a certificate for the domain, but also let us request a certificate for this domain as well, www.domain. Let us check it first, whether we can receive a certificate. This is successful, so let us replace this dry run with the email address. And also agree with terms of service. It is received a certificate successfully. And this is the latest certificate that we just received. The syntax now is okay, and we can reload the configuration of Nginx. Now we can try to open this website into a browser. WordPress 5.user1.fs.al. and we get the installation wizard of WordPress. Username, admin, password, this is a good password, email, and install. Login. And we are inside WordPress. So now this WordPress is running from the project that we built with Docker Compose. Now let's make some improvements to this configuration file, or some modifications. First of all, we are reusing these names: WordPress 5DB, WordPress 5DB here, WordPress 5 user, and again here, WordPress 5 user, and they have to be the same. Because in the first case, they tell the container how to build, how to create a database and a user. And here, which database name and which username to use when connecting to the database. And here, this DB is the name of the service here, the name of the container. So here, the name of the service is DB, and here, the host of the database is also DB, because with this name we can access this container in the Docker network that is created for these two containers. Compose. Because when we run Docker Compose app to start the Docker Compose project, it also creates this network, WordPress default. So this default is the name of the default network, and this WordPress is the name of the project. So it creates a network for those two containers, and they are connected to this network, the database and the WordPress container. And now let's see whether we can define these environment variables into another configuration file. So let me copy this first, and then I will create a configuration file called .env. And let me copy this as well, this. And this .env actually is like a bash script. So it is using the syntax of bash, and we are just defining some bash variables here. Some environment variables are bash variables, and so we have to use this syntax: name of the variable equal without spaces, and then the value of the variable. The value can be surrounded by single quotes, double quotes, Also without quotes. If there are no spaces, then we don't have to use quotes. But if we use quotes, okay, it does not become more visible because it is not colored, but okay. So we can define these variables into this file, and when we run docker compose up, docker compose is going to read this file automatically, and these variables will be defined for each container. Actually, I'm going to leave this one into the configuration file, compose.yaml. Let me define only these database parameters, database connection options. And I can leave this one into the configuration file as well. In compose.yaml, and I can also define here db name, and then use here db name. Database name, and also here database name. And also define db user, and use here db user, and here and define here db pass, save, and this environment variable is here. Now let me finish modifying this. So I don't have to define this this variable MariaDB database, this environment variable, because it is defined in the .env file. So let me remove this line. And also this MariaDB user has been defined, this one too. And the same here. I don't have to define this variable WordPress DB name because it is defined in the .env. So let me remove these lines. And I'm leaving only this environment variable here and this one here. Let me save. And I will stop the containers and then start them again. Docker compose down, destroy the containers, stop and remove them, and then docker compose up d. And let me see whether the site still runs. Error establishing database connection. Now we are having some issues. Okay, since we have spent 1 hour, let's stop here. I will investigate this issue and we'll fix it next time.